It's January 2024, the first month, and we're going to talk about our best metal albums today.
We've got some strong contenders on here in this list. Don't go anywhere.
Kicking it off with some misanthropy, we're going to start with Hauntologist Hollow. This album technically releases February 2nd, but it's been live on YouTube for the last 3 weeks, so I included it here. This is a side project of two members of Polish black metal royalty at this point, Darkside on drums from Mgła fame and Kriegsmachine, and The Fall from the band Ashes on other instruments. Hollow seems somewhat like a supergroup endeavor without the letdown. Despite resembling a new Mgła album, the familiarity is not a drawback. The initial tracks like Ozymandian and Golem may echo past familiarities, and I'm all here for it, man. Check this out. The album does transform, though, and have some other influences and melodic interludes like Waves of Concrete and Death Dreamer, infusing post-punk elements, presenting a progressive take on the style, which just sounds awesome. Departing from black metal norms, tracks like Autonomy and Gardermoen experiment with more extreme black metal and gothic influences, showcasing a diverse range of emotion to the sonic blackened palette. What I love about this album is it feels like an intriguing expression of urban misanthropy. Hollow definitely warrants attention, not only for Mgła fans, but also those wanting groove in their black metal. Check it out.
Lord Dying, Clandestine, Transcendence. This band quietly released one of the greatest albums of 2019 with their third full-length, Mysterium Tremendum. So when this album was announced, I got very excited, Forgemates. I gotta say, I was not disappointed, and this album is an incredibly early contender for Album of the Year. Check out what I mean. I'm a firm believer that where an artist is geographically located will affect their art, whether you're a writer, painter, or musician. There's something super unique about bands that come out of the Pacific Northwest. There's always a darker message with songs that descend into the recesses of your emotions.
We know we've lost our way now.
Lord Dying would be like if Mastodon, Soundgarden, and Yob all had a grotesquely beautiful baby. The band meticulously weaves threads of the human condition throughout its music, never shying away from being incredibly heavy or solemn. Something tells me that this is going to stand as a favorite of 2024. This album isn't perfect because at 12 tracks and nearly 59 minutes, it does drag a bit at times, which is ironic because Mysterium Tremendum is 5 minutes shorter, but it's so perfectly paced that I would just let that album repeat for days. Still, I've got nothing but love for this record, and even its blemishes are worth our time.
Sgàile Traverse the Bealach, a wonderfully captivating concept album narrating a nomadic journey through a post-apocalyptic Scotland. Sound awesome? Well, check this out. Tony Dunn explores progressive metal with atmospheric nuances in this solo effort, deviating from conventional black folk metal associated with the Scottish Highlands. The album's crisp mix, done by Mike Lamb, establishes an expansive soundscape, allowing the rhythm guitars to carry weight, while the airy lead guitars float above those post-metal tremolos and energetic melodies. Check this out. Dunn's vocals, reminiscent of his other band, Bealach, harmonize and layer dynamically here, enhancing that overall performance, and it just sounds so good. The album skillfully captivates with the seamless progression of one riff to the next, creating a sense of physical momentum, and it's done so well. Overall, Traverse the Bealach impresses with its cohesive, absorbing musical journey through Scotland, showcasing Dunn's prowess as a solo musician and songwriter. Despite the album being a little bit long, it does drag at points. I think a couple of songs could have been cut. Traverse the Bealach stands out for its melodic richness and harmonious interplay. This album could easily make an album of the year list at the end of 2024.
Engulf, the dying planet weeps. This is a debut record from American solo artist Hal M. When I saw this record was coming out via Everlasting Spew, I had a strong feeling there was going to be some gent and deathcore influences. Well, consider me a prophet or some shit. Now, typically I would be pretty turned off by this, but the album does a really nice job of towing the line of old school death, tech death, a la Decapitated, and newer style of tech death, more like Shadow of Intent with their deathcore influences. Hal doesn't shy away from his influences, citing bands like Hate Eternal and Gorguts as inspiration. You hear them too, right? That's some really cool stuff right there. While he doesn't manage to rewrite the tech death landscape like Gorguts or Archspire, Hal certainly managed to blend a few styles of vicious death metal into one brutal grab bag, showcasing modern tricks you might hear on AAA releases. I gotta say, the production on here is going to turn some of you off, as it did for me. The drums are very stale and lifeless, and I really dislike how much low end there is on the kick. Usually I like the low end, the frequencies to be in the bass guitar, and it was not occupying that spot in the waveform. That's a creative decision that somebody made, not me. Outside of that, I really like the modern take on an old school sound. Nice job, Hal. I really like this record.
Vitriol, Suffer and Become. Death metal fans pay the hell attention here, man, because this album came out swinging hard. This record has some serious contrast, and I love that. The high highs and low lows convey intensity and maturity compared to their fantastic debut. This time around, Vitriol allows a lot more breathing room in the composition space and also in production, enriching that overall experience. The track Shame in its Afterbirth opens with a varied approach featuring a creepy intro, and that just amplifies the subsequent onslaught. Check this out. The tracks overall maintained relentless speed and also heavy weightiness, surprising with melodic elements and exceptional guitar work. Flowers of Sadism explores a groovier approach, reminiscent of Morbid Angel's Where the Slime Live, and this was a turning point for me from liking this record to absolutely loving it. You can tell that this is a band that loves to showcase pure rage and suffering through transformation. This is a band that's unafraid to experiment with brutality in many forms, and what we have here is something that ended up being outstanding that could easily hit end of the year lists in the death metal category. Before we get to our next review, hit that like button, really helps us out a ton, and if you don't mind, hit subscribe too.
We are trying to build a community of musicians and metalheads and artists and people that just love this stuff. We appreciate the hell out of you, and we got some merch too. You might want to go scope that out.
And with that, back to the video.
Mourning Dawn, the foam of despair. I was certainly not expecting a strong Blackened Doom album to come out so soon, but here we are, full of surprises and whack opinions about bands that you love and hate. For those unaware, this band has been around for 22 years, delivering massive slabs of grim, sorrowful metal that is sure to leave you feeling oppressed. This album has a strong rise in quality as it lumbers on, starting off fine and ending at great. I've got to spawn a word of caution before you jump into this one. It's bleak. Unlike Lord Dying, which has moments of hope and optimism, the foam of despair is like quicksand. It will latch onto you and suck you down. Just be sure to have your favorite pop or emo album at hand to wash yourself of the sticky foam that is sure to coat your entire body after you hear this record.
This is
Master, Saints Dispelled. This is a death metal band that absolutely deserves their name, man. They've been at it since the 80s, and you can tell that they've just dominated their craft. Saints Dispelled sees this Czechia-based death thrash trio delivering a trademark ferocity with renewed vigor. Led by the sole founding member, Paul Speckman, his distinct vocals, and also Alex 93's vicious riffing, the album showcases a youthful but bloodthirsty energy throughout, which really comes forward with their new drummer, Peter Bacci. The chemistry between the drummer's blistering beats and these razor-sharp riffs just seem seamless throughout, portraying a band that just sounds like they've been playing together for a long freaking time. Check this out. Clocking in at 38 minutes or so, the album's got no fat whatsoever. Highlight tracks like Destruction in June, Saints Dispelled burst with the death thrash glory in the first half of the record, while the latter part features potent offerings like Find Your Life and Wizard of Evil. Despite some occasional stumbles with some of the longer tracks, Saints Dispelled predominantly delivers a tried and true old school death thrash record that Master is revered for, leaving a trail of impactful but relentless bangers. What did you love in January? There was some pretty sick metal albums. I'm sure we missed a ton of them. Leave your favorites down below in the comments, and while you're at it, check out one of our other videos right here.
Go with the gods, Forge Mates. The Hauntologist awaits.